All right. So I see folks joining us now as they load in and get settled in with their audio. Make sure that they can hear and see us all right. First of all, welcome and thank you all for taking time out of your night to join us. We have a great group of colleges and universities to share a little bit more about their respective institution and what they have to offer. But before that, I just have a few housekeeping things to remind you all of before we get started on tonight's webinar. The first being, how do I ask questions? So it's an important part of the application process. You'll use the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. So you won't be able to utilize your audio or video to interact with our representatives, but you are able to type in those questions and make sure you are addressing a certain university if it's for a specific person. That way they are able to answer you directly back. Reminder, sign up for additional sessions. So there's another event tomorrow that we encourage you all to take part in. And again, there will be a recording of this event available on the StriveScan website within a week of this event. So that way you can go back and review any content that you might have missed. And that is all the housekeeping things that I have. So I will turn it over to Barrett to talk a little bit more about his institution and share a little bit more information.
Thank you, Bryson. I appreciate that for the introduction. Students, my name is Barrett. I work with the University of North Georgia and I recruit students. So I'm kind of the liaison between UNG and high school. For those that may be interested in North Georgia, I'm joined with my colleague Keely. She will be answering our Q&A session. So the chat box, any questions that you may have, please feel free to ask away and we'll be happy to provide any answers and clarity for you. Let me go ahead and pull up the slideshow now. Okay, can you guys, I guess you can hopefully see that.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So at the University of North Georgia, we are one university that has 5 campuses. There are over 20,000 students. I know it says nearly 20,000. We are over the 20,000 marker. So we're considered a large institution at UNG, but we do have 5 campuses that make up one university. So of course we have our Blue Ridge, Dahlonega, Cumming, Gainesville, and Oconee campuses. The unique thing about UNG is we are both a residential and a commuter campus, and as well, you can pursue both a bachelor's, which is a 4-year degree, and an associate, which is a 2-year at UNG. And then of course at the bottom, we do have listed in more detail the different types of students, the numbers of students that may be on the campus, and whether or not they're bachelor's, associates, and if they're living on campus or not. Just to continue, just to talk briefly about the Corps of Cadets. At the University of North Georgia, we are one of 6 senior military schools in the country. There are schools like Texas A&M and Virginia Tech. Those are just to name a few. But currently right now, we rank #1 out of all 6 senior military colleges in the country, which kind of puts us on the map as far as the Corps of Cadets. We are exclusively an Army institution regarding our Corps of Cadets, so the students that go through when they commission, they usually commission as a 2nd lieutenant in the U.S. Army. Some will go the non-traditional route. They may want to go work for the NSA or the CIA or the FBI. We have a lot of students that will do that, and they'll take the less traditional route as opposed to going straight into the Army. Now on the student side, if you were to attend North Georgia, I know oftentimes you're asked, and normally when we're in schools at a lunch visit or a private visit, we would say, as a recruiter, we would say, hey, what are you interested in studying? That's a common question. I know you probably get that asked a lot. We do have five of our top programs that we'll showcase and talk about just briefly today. The first one, of course, is biology with a concentration in pre-medicine. That's by far and large our biggest program. Following second would be business management and then marketing. Fourthly, psychology, and then lastly, nursing. Now, these are just the top 5 programs as far as most popular or from a popularity standpoint. It doesn't mean they're the best. We have a lot of programs that are just as well off as these, but these are most popular as far as what students are pursuing at UNG. Now, the student involvement side. Oftentimes we get so wrapped up in the education, which is important. Don't get me wrong. That's what we should be talking about. But we forget to talk about what's in it for the student outside of the classroom. So the extracurricular side, we do have over 300 clubs and organizations for students to choose from. You can see listed there kind of in the middle, in the smaller print, different types, whether it's athletic, multicultural, Greek life. These are all comprised of our student life. And that's one thing that we push at UNG is student involvement. We want students to get involved. And I always say this because it's true, but every student has their niche. It's either something they're good at or something they like to do, whether it's something within the fine arts like theater, or maybe you're athletically inclined and you love sports. If you can couple that with your education, it only breeds success, which is why we want students to get involved and to make really the most of their time while they're at a university or in college. Now, I'm going to talk about the bachelor's admissions process because two of our campuses, both Dahlonega and Gainesville, most students are pursuing a bachelor's degree at UNG. It's pretty simple for all applicants that are applying for fall of 2021. So if you're a senior and you still want to apply, our application portal is still open for you. We're only really looking at one thing, and that's your GPA. Because of the COVID and the coronavirus and the COVID restrictions, we are going test optional, as some institutions are as well. And what we're requiring is at least a 2.8 GPA. So you can see there listed at the top, it says RHSC GPA. That's the required high school curriculum. That's going to be your core classes: English, math, science, social studies, and foreign language. The application checklist is broken down fourfold. It's pretty simple. First is to apply through Georgia Futures. Secondly, we need your official high school transcript from your school. Thirdly, we need proof of lawful U.S. presence. It's like a driver's license photo or a copy of your birth certificate. And then fourthly, of course, you can check your application status. If you want to pursue an associate degree pathway, I'll briefly talk about this. The requirements are at least a 2.0 GPA. If you decide to internally transfer to our bachelor's program, you do have to meet transfer requirements, and they're listed there, with at least 30 completed hours and a minimum GPA of a 2.25. Now, paying for college. I really only want to talk about one number here. The most you'll pay at UNG per year, this is per year, this is your annual cost, is this number right here in the middles, $7,472. That's for tuition and fees. That's the most you'll pay per year at UNG. Now, that's not considering both Zell Miller and Hope Scholarship, which are both state scholarships. So if you apply for those and you receive them, that tuition is going to drop significantly, making college that much more affordable. Now, if you decide to live on campus, we do have 3 different styles of housing you can choose from: traditionals, traditional housing, which are traditional dorms; suites, which are both North Georgia Suites and the Commons; and then lastly, Owen Hall, which is a fully furnished apartment complex. The last thing I really want to talk about, because I know we are limited on time, is visiting UNG. And I think I could speak for all the colleges, and I will, in the sense of what you may be interested in. If you're pursuing college and you want to know more, don't just take my word for it or anybody's word for it here regarding presentations. If you're interested in any of these schools that you hear from today, go visit the school. And I think everybody would agree with me. Visit the schools that you're interested in. If you have top 3 schools, whatever they may be, step foot on campus and give a campus tour and actually visit the university before committing yourself there, because you got to figure out, okay, is this the right place for me? Is this where I need to go? And you will have that kind of moment of clarity where you figure out, okay, well, I've visited these schools and I'm receiving a lot of stuff in the mail from a lot of information. And I want to know more, but I'm not getting it all just from the information that's provided. Again, that's where you're going to want to visit the university. Campus tours, we certainly recommend. We push those at UNG. In fact, anytime I'm at a lunch visit or a private visit, I'm always stressing to students to actually step foot on campus and to visit our campus and university. And of course, you can do so from the following link that's provided: ung.edu/visit. Thanks again, guys. And as always, go Nighthawks.
Awesome. Thanks, Barrett. So we'll pass it over to Western Colorado University to share a little bit more about what they have to offer.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Bryson. Let me share my screen real quick. Let's see. Alrighty. Like I said, my name is Alejandro. Yes, that's a little difference. You can call me Alex. I don't have 2 first names or last names. Like I said, you can call me Alex. I'm a regional director of recruitment for Western Colorado University, a 4-year public liberal arts institution that's located at the heart of the Rocky Mountain in Gunnison, Colorado. Just to give a little perspective, that is 4 hours southwest of Denver. It's a Gunnelson's a small town. It's about 9,000 people. That's including Western student enrollment of 3,000 students. So we got roughly about under 26, over 2,600 undergraduate students and over 400 graduate students. We are projected to grow though. We added radio school, computer science, and mechanical engineering, and we added other sports as well. So there's definitely a lot of things. It's definitely going to drive enrollment up now. Even though Gunnelson's a small little town, there's a lot of things to do, and there's something for everybody. I mean, we have Crested View, which Crested View is 30 minutes north of town. Crested View, I would say, is kind of typical tourist town. That I would say it hasn't been fully taken by tourists. I'll be honest, it is kind of like a tourist attraction. There's a lot of gift shops, there's a lot of restaurants. You can ski and snowboard there, which that's a big attraction for a lot of students out Western. You can also mountain bike, hike, and the colors in the fall are blissful. We also have Harmons, which is about 5 miles south of town. Harmons is the largest outdoor recreational area in Colorado. It's over 8,000 acres. And students, that's where a lot of your outdoor activities will take place. So mountain biking, hiking, rock climbing. There's over 150 camping sites. If you have a dirt bike and ride there, shooting range. It's a lot of things to do out there. And then we also have Blue Mesa, which Blue Mesa is about 10 miles west of town. It is the largest body of water in Colorado. It's 20 miles long, and that's where your water activities will take place. So boating, paddleboarding, fishing, ice fishing, or you can also have a nice barbecue on a hot Saturday evening, especially during the summer. Golly, it hits the spot. So it's a lot of things to do outdoors. We also have over 50 clubs and organizations. Those are student-led clubs that students want to see happen. And all they did to make it happen was just propose that yes, certain government or Western. Certain government allocates over $350,000 and all the clubs are Western. So there's always something going on, not just off campus, but also on campus. So like I said, Western's located in Gunnelson, Colorado. We have over 3,000 students. Average class sizes, 17. 84% of the classes at Western are taught by full-time faculty, someone that's fully dedicated to your education. And 71% of those professors at Western have 20 more degrees, meaning that they have the highest possible degree in their field. Like I said, we have over 50 cluster organizations. Now we are dedicated to the student success, just like every other institution is on this platform. We have different services, from disability services to you'll be assigned academic advisor at Western. That advisor will guide you from the first year to your last year at Western. We have a math, English writing center, my bad. And then we also have an EPIC mentor, which each incoming student, regardless if they're a transfer or an incoming freshman, they'll be paired with an upperclassman student at Western. That student will help you through your first year at Western, making sure you have everything, all the resources you need to excel while you're at Western. Now, our tuition for out-of-state is over $18,000. That's definitely below the national average of over $22,000. 80% of the students receive some type of financial aid, and 100% of them are considered for merit aid. Now, our merit scholarships are upon acceptance, and they're going off your weighted GPA for fall 2021. We're going test optional, just like every other institution in Colorado and across the nation is. And we hope to continue that after 2021. So right now, like I said, those scholarships are upon acceptance. They will go off your cumulative GPA. We do take weighted GPA, but those range from $8,000 to $10,000 a year for 4 years. Like I said, that's a renewal scholarship you'll receive for 4 years, as long as you maintain the GPA of 2.75. With all the resources of personalized education at Western, I don't think that should be a problem. Now, how to apply? You can apply to the Western application. You can also apply to the common application. Regardless, we'll need your official transcripts in order to process your application. Like I said, for fall 2021, we're going test optional. For fall 2022, like I said, we hope to continue being test optional, but we'll have more information later on in the summer. Now, if you do decide to apply to the Western application, make sure you send us, if you do apply to the Western application, there is a $30 application fee. Call the admissions office, call me, or email us, and we'll give you that promo code to waive the application fee. We are currently also taking applications at the moment. We have a rolling admission, so we'll take applications up to the day of classes. A year below any of our 50 percentile, so we have a 3.1 to a 3.7 GPA, which that's the main thing you gotta look at the moment. If you're below that GPA range, definitely send any material that will help support your application. We'll look at everything you provide for us before we make a decision. And now, just like Barry from UNG said, make sure you visit all the schools. Make sure you apply to the schools, even the ones you know you're for sure not going to attend. Make sure you apply to them. You want to have options. After that, narrow your options down, top 3, top 5 schools, and visit those schools before you make a decision. It's crucial that you do. You're looking for your next home, and you gotta be happy with it. So make sure everything you enjoy, you're passionate about, that school has it. Now, we're probably one of a few schools in Colorado that are hosting in-person visits. We have visits around Monday through Friday and Saturday upon request. Those visits include an information session, kind of just going about the Gunnison Valley, kind of what we offer, resources, tuition and cost, scholarships. And then we also have a campus tour afterwards. And then if you want to meet with a coach or a student or a professor, whoever it might be, we can definitely make those arrangements as well. Now, if you can't make it to the meeting, definitely look at our virtual events that we have coming up this spring, and you can go to western.edu/recruitment events to see everything we have coming up this spring. My information is there as well in case, like say, you want to learn more about Western or just learn about all the opportunities that we offer. Definitely don't hesitate to reach out. But thank you.
Awesome, thanks. And then we will turn it over to Lincoln Memorial to share a little bit more.
All righty. So my name is Nicholas Williams. I'm a admissions counselor here at Lincoln Memorial University, and we're founded in 1897, and we're located in Harrogate, Tennessee. It's a small town about an hour to an hour and 15 minutes north of Knoxville, Tennessee. Our total enrollment is going to be just under that 5,000 mark. Now that's going to include undergraduate, graduate, and our professional schools. And then our average class size is going to be around that 14 to 16 mark right there. So we are an accredited institution, very affordable as a private liberal arts school, and about 90% of our undergraduate students do receive some type of financial aid. And just some quick facts to note here. In 2019, we were voted safest campus in America by alarms.org. The U.S. News World Report has tabbed us as a regional university with grads with the least debt load, and then University Research and Review named us as a best value school. So going into some of our degree programs, we do have some associate degree programs here on campus. So you can see arts, business administration, nursing, which is going to be our biggest major on campus, either in the associate's program or in the bachelor's. And then you can see science. So we do have a vet school. And so vet health science and vet med tech are up and coming for us as well. And when it comes to our bachelor degree programs, we got a wide range of bachelor degree programs, as you can see. Biology is another big one for us. We do have a med school here on campus, so bio, pre-health, and pre-med, that is another big one for us. Exercise and rehabilitation science, so if you want to do OT, PT, that kind of thing, that would be another big one for us. And you'll see some of those degree programs do have an asterisk beside it. If you see that, that just means that you can complete that teacher certification if you would like to do that. And like I said, some of the pre-professional tracks we have: occupational therapy, optometry, pharmacy, physical therapy. Those are kind of the biggest ones, along with our medicine, pre-med, with our DO program. You can see some of our graduate programs there. Business administration is going to be the biggest one that we have on campus, and it's pretty darn good. And our professional program. So the biggest one is going to be our DO program. So our Doctor of Osteopathic Medicine. It's actually named, the school is named after our board of trustee, chairman of the board. His name is Dr. DeBus. So you'll see the DeBus College of Osteopathic Medicine. That's what that's going to be. Our vet school, and then OT, PT, and optometry are some up and coming ones that we are just started here at OMU. So as far as acceptance and application and that kind of stuff going into the school, so for guaranteed acceptance, you have to have a 3.2 unweighted high school GPA, and then a 19 or a 1010 for a test score. Now, for this coming fall, we are going to be a test optional university. meaning you don't have to have that test score. However, after that, that is, as an institution, we have not made the decision on what we're going to do, but just something to keep an eye on there. Now, we do offer some merit-based scholarships, and those way we come about those is your test scores and your unweighted GPA in high school. So you can kind of see the ranges that correspond with those merit-based scholarships there. Again, the higher your scores are, the better, but they offset each other. So if you have a real high ACT score and a lower GPA, you can still qualify for the same amount of money if you had the reverse there. So see that. And when it comes to student life, so Abe's Army, that is going to be our student section. They get rowdy at home games and create a fantastic environment for our athletic programs. We do offer athletics here. We are an NCAA Division II university, and we have over 25 sports. We just added men's and women's wrestling and field hockey. Basketball, men's basketball is going to be the crown and jewel of our athletic department, multiple Final Fours, multiple national championship games, currently ranked in the top 10, I believe, is where they're at. So they win a lot, and they're fun to watch. You can see some other things there. Craft nights, we have Arts in the Gap. So we're located right beside the Cumberland Gap, and it's a real small town. It's really nice, but you can go over there and do some craft stuff. We do have a fitness center on campus located in our student center, which also has a Chick-fil-A and a Starbucks located in it, which is really nice. The get out of town is kind of a unique thing. I've not heard of a lot of schools that do this. It could just be me, but so we have a shuttle that runs on campus, and every Friday there's about a 3-hour gap on Friday that they will shuttle students over to Walmart to go grocery shopping if they don't have a car or something like that. So that's kind of cool. We do have some Greek life on campus. Intramural sports, everything from softball to volleyball to basketball, all that kind of stuff. We do have an indoor pool. They'll do water aerobics and water Zumba and all that jazz. So that's kind of cool. Clubs and organizations, we have over 30 on campus, something that you can get involved in. If there's one that you don't see that you want to get involved in, we can always go about getting that started, going through the proper channels there. Student government, student leadership programs, passport programs, you can see all that there. Now, I want to go over just about how to apply to our school. So you can go on our website. It's lmunet.edu. You'll see at the top right-hand side on the ribbon, it'll say apply. Click on that, and it'll take you to our applicant portal. Register as a new user there. Go through that application process, and then at the end, it's going to say submit that application. Once we get that, test scores, high school transcripts, and we'll be good to go to get that decision made on you. And lastly, my contact info is there on the screen. Feel free to reach out to me or to anybody on the admissions team through that general admissions line or email. We'd love to have you up for a visit. We're only taking campus visits by appointment only right now. So feel free to reach out to us. We'll get that set up for you. And go Splitters.
All right. We will turn it over. Byron from Binghamton.
Yes, hello everyone. Let me go ahead and share my screen and we can go ahead and get started. Just optimize sound as well, because I have something I'm going to share with you folks. Okay, so my name is Byron Gittins. I work here at Binghamton University, which is part of the SUNY system. Binghamton is the #1 public out of all these state schools. In New York, I'm from Queens. In New York, we have 64 state schools, and Binghamton's the #1. It's the largest school system in the nation when we talk about the universities as far as the state schools. I've been doing admissions now for about 11 years. Binghamton's not the only institution I worked at. Before this, I was at the University of Maryland, College Park, recruiting students for several years. And before that, I was at UConn doing international admissions. So a lot of times just working with these #1 publics. One good thing about Binghamton is it's medium size. It's not going to have 40,000 students on the campus. We're very similar when I talk about being like the #1 school that maybe a lot of you students go to. It's like the University of Georgia for your state. Binghamton does have 6 schools and colleges on campus. So we're looking at students that maybe want to come here and they're interested in pharmacy, they're interested in engineering, they're interested in nursing, they're interested in business. There's a college for community and public affairs. We get about 40,000 applications for 3,000 seats. Most of the students we're getting are A's and B's on the transcript when we're doing the SAT. The middle 50% is like 1280 to 1430, maybe ACT 29 to 32. So it is a very selective institution. We have 450 clubs and organizations on campus. We are a D1 institution as well, so there's a lot of sports as far as that goes also. I want to share a quick clip of the campus with you as well. Okay, so where we're located, New York City's 3 hours away. So there's 26 buses per day, roughly, that go back and forth between Binghamton and New York City. Most of our students are from New York. I would probably say maybe 70%. The rest of them are coming from other areas. I recruit Florida, Georgia, and some other territories, international, West Coast, and everything. So you can kind of see where we're located, but we're surrounded by a lot of major metropolitan cities within the Northeast. The value is very good. So when I think of cost of attendance, I did say I've worked at other institutions. Out-of-state students pay roughly about $44,000 when we talk about housing, meals, fees, tuitions, and things like that. Most of our scholarships that we have at Binghamton are reserved for out-of-state students. I mean, we've had merit-based scholarships that have been as high as $14,000, $15,000 renewable every year for 4 years. But it's a good return on investment because the average salary for our students once they leave is $60,000 at Binghamton. It's actually $60,398. Here's my contact information. I know I only have probably about a couple of more seconds here to speak, but this is my contact information. Definitely make sure that you're visiting our website for a lot of reasons. We have a lot of events that we're doing, information sessions. We do have like Campus 360 where you can do an actual virtual tour of Binghamton. One fun fact about Binghamton is that we are on 930 acres and 190 acres of it is a nature preserve. And the nature preserve does have Wi-Fi as well. And back to you, Bryson.
Awesome, thank you, appreciate it. So it looks like we have some additional time. So if our admissions reps from the other institutions want to kind of pop back on, and if we want to kind of go round robin back in the order that we went originally and just share a little bit, a interesting fact or a unique major or something about your institution that kind of makes you unique. Our students usually like to hear those interesting kind of fun facts. And then students, as a reminder, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the Q&A box or tag a institution if it's for one specific person. So I'll pass it over to Bear, who started us off, and then we'll go in the order that we presented.
Thanks, Bryson. So just to share back as far as a fun fact, I know oftentimes people talk about traditions, and I could share about traditions, but a fun fact about UNG is the Corps of Cadet program. So for students that are maybe interested in the military pathway, 3 out of the last 4 years, interesting fact, we have ranked #1 out of all senior military colleges. So again, we have the most active U.S. generals in the U.S. Army right now. So kind of a fact for you. So yeah, for students that maybe wanting to pursue the military route, we certainly have you covered.
Perfect. And just an interesting fact about Western Colorado University, we're surrounded by 1.7 million acres of public land. So anything with outdoors like wildlife, biology, MDS, environmental sustainability, or recreation, outdoor education, I would say that's our kind of like a bread and butter, just because we're surrounded by so much free land. And then also just the kind of like a tradition that we have is every year during homecoming, we light our W on fire. That's on our mountain, and that's in front of like the entire school, and that's done by our not Mons Force team. Gosh, I'm blinking on the name, but it's done by an organization on campus. And like I said, it's in the middle of the night, and everybody gathers. We have alums come on campus. We had the big football game the next day. So that's a nice tradition that we have on our campus. So thank you.
Yeah, just a new initiative that we rolled out maybe last week here at LMU is our GPA program, which stands for Guaranteed Professional Admission. So if you go into an undergrad degree program here, pathway here that leads into our law school, our med school, vet school, or our OT and PT schools, as long as you meet certain criteria while you're here in school, you're guaranteed a seat there in that program, in that professional program. So just a new initiative we rolled out last week. So
one other thing that's unique to Binghamton is our freshman research immersion program. There are only 4 of these in the nation. It is a 3-semester research program. It's very intense. I'll put the clip or the link right in the chat. You can kind of take a look at it. You do get to do some heavy research if that's what you're interested in. It's not only STEM, we have research in a lot of different areas, but Dr. Whittingham is responsible. He won a Nobel Prize. He's responsible for the ion lithium batteries. So certainly with this laptop I'm utilizing tonight, we can thank him and his team of people, and he teaches chemistry at Binghamton. So this is some of the type of professors you would be surrounded by.
Very cool stuff. Yeah, I appreciate it all. And students, again, if you have those questions, drop them in the Q&A portion of it. And I'll give a few minutes for students who may be typing in there. And if our reps want to kind of just hang out here for a few minutes to see if we have any additional questions, and then we'll wrap up tonight's session. So reminder for the students that are still on, there is a feedback survey that will pop up after this session. And we do have another event for tomorrow that we encourage you to sign up for if any of those schools are of interest to you. So we'll leave the room open for those questions and see if we can answer any additional ones. All right, folks, it looks like that that kind of concludes tonight's portion of the webinar. So I will conclude this portion of it and hope to see you again at another StriveScan event, potentially tomorrow. Thanks and stay safe, everyone.
Take care.